It's finally starting to feel like football again. The Dallas Cowboys had their first padded practice of training camp, which means we got our first good looks at the offensive and defensive lines getting real work. We saw some big hits in practice, and we got another look at what the Cowboys offense might be heading into 2023. I have all of my notes from practice on Monday. We're covering it all here on the Double Move channel, so if you're not, please make sure you are subscribed. Now, let's get into it. One of the first things that I noticed from watching practice was seeing Tony Pollard out there on the field. Felt great to see him out there after that gruesome leg injury against the 49ers. And he was rotating with a couple of guys getting work with the Cowboys' first team. I'm glad to see that he was ready for training camp. This is going to mean a lot for him heading into the season. I doubt we're going to see much of him in the preseason, but it is good to see him out there on the practice field. I know that he's been practicing with the team throughout OTAs and to start training camp without the pads on, but for him to be out there with guys making contact, pushing him around, him getting his jersey dirty, it's going to be crucial for him to take hits before the season starts, so he feels comfortable on that leg. But another thing that I noticed with Pollard was the guy that was rotating in with him. Rico Dowdle was being praised by Mike McCarthy on Monday right before practice. Even with that praise, it was interesting to see him out there running with the first and second teams. It seemed like he was the guy getting work behind Pollard. And he had some pretty good runs in that practice. He looked shifty, he looked healthy, which has been a problem throughout his entire Cowboys career. So right now, in my mind, based on what I saw, he might be the team's favorite to win that running back 2 spot right now. And I feel like this is a good time to mention that Ronald Jones is suspended for 2 games for PED violations with the league. So seeing Dowdle out there running with that second team is a pretty big deal. He's in front of Malik Davis and Deuce Vaughn as far as getting reps in practice right now. Another note from the offensive side of the ball came from the wide receivers. Based on what I saw, it looks like Brandin Cooks is still that guy. He looks fast. He's still putting moves on guys, getting open down the field. There was a great play to Brandin Cooks down the field from Dak Prescott. It was really good to see that he hasn't fallen off that cliff. He's still that 1,000-yard guy. He still has that 4.3 speed. And Brandin Cooks so far in camp has been really, really good. He's routing guys up and making plays for this offense that we didn't see in 2022. Another guy that makes plays every single training camp is CeeDee Lamb. And I did notice that he was lining up in the slot a majority of the time with Gallup on the right and Brandin Cooks on the left on the outside. CeeDee Lamb was getting a ton of work inside. And based on what we saw last year, that's where he really flourishes. But having Cooks as a weapon, a deep threat guy, and then a healthier Gallup really could make this offense super explosive in 2023. And with those guys working in, I noticed that the West Coast offense is in full effect. A lot of quick, open passes that gets the playmakers the ball quick and in space so they can go and make a play. That's where I really noticed Brandin Cooks. A little short route out to Cooks. He gets the ball, makes 2 guys miss, and then gets an extra 5 to 7 yards after the catch. Getting the ball out of Dak's hands as quick as possible, precise routes with precise throws, it makes for a really good West Coast offense. To add to the wide receiver room, I did see a couple of nice plays from Jalen Tolbert. Definitely more than we saw from him in 2022. So right now, it looks like he could be the favorite for that wide receiver 4 spot. Like I said in my last video, I want to see more from Jalen Tolbert. I want to see this on a consistent basis into the preseason and as training camp continues. But so far, he looks like a better player than we saw last year. But there's one guy that is making this offense look worse than it really is, and that is Micah Parsons. They're going to have to get this dude off the field if they want the Cowboys offense to get any kind of work, because he was beating his guy over and over and over again. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was a play against Tyron Smith where Micah just pushed him down. It was like Tyron wasn't even standing there. Micah had one move and Tyron was on his side and Micah was in the backfield before Dak even got into the back of his drop. It's been incredible to see all of his offseason work now translating into training camp. And I'm going to go ahead and say it now. That dude is going to win Defensive Player of the Year in 2023. as long as he stays healthy. All of that talk about Micah gaining weight this offseason and putting it on to play the edge doesn't look like it slowed him down at all, and he looks stronger than we've seen the past 2 years. So Micah Parsons is absolutely killing it in Cowboys training camp so far. Overall, it was a great first padded practice for the Cowboys. Overall, for the first padded practice, the defense will typically dominate the offense. But it looked like they were trading back and forth all day. The offense would win a rep, the defense would win a rep. It was really good to see. So that's all my notes from the Cowboys' first padded practice. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed, go check out my last video where I talked about week 1 of camp, what I saw, what I liked, and what I didn't. So go check that out. I'll see you guys all over there. I love you all. Bye.